Now I would like to welcome Deputy Commissioner Curtis Zablocki, Commanding Officer of Alberta, to the podium. J'aimerais maintenant souhaiter la bienvenue au commissaire adjoint, officier en charge de la
Commissioner, officer in charge in Alberta.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. This is never the kind of news that we want to share. Constable Harvinder Singh Dhami, known to everyone as Harvey of the Strathcona RCMP detachment, was killed in the line of duty this morning at 2 a.m. Constable Dhami was involved in a motor vehicle accident while responding to assist members with a noise complaint. While en route to the call, his vehicle struck a large concrete abutment or barrier. Despite efforts of the emergency personnel and civilians on scene, Harvey succumbed to his injuries. Constable Dhami graduated Depot in 2019 and was posted to the Strathcona Municipal Detachment. Right from the time he started at Depot, Harvey was known as someone who was mature with a strong sense of responsibility. He was hardworking, dependable, and so well liked by everyone around him. This was so evident this morning in speaking with his watchmates and colleagues here in the detachment. Constable Dhami took great pride in wearing the uniform, and we were very proud to have him on our team. Harvey is survived by his wife, Ravinder, and her family, his mother, his sister, and his brother. Losing a member of our police service and a member of the community is incredibly difficult. We're very appreciative of the support that's been extended to the family, our staff, and the community. I'd like to now ask Superintendent Dale Kendall, our officer in charge of Strathcona Detachment, to speak about Harvey's time here in Strathcona.
For the French version, bonjour à tous. Merci de vous joindre à nous aujourd'hui.
Thank you for joining us
Ce n'est jamais
today.
le genre de nouvelles que nous
It's
voulons
never the kind
partager.
of news we want to
Agent
share.
Harvinder Singh Dhami,
Agent
connu sous le nom
Dhami,
de Harvey,
known as Harvey,
détachement de comté de Strathcona,
of the Strathcona County
été
Detachment,
tué dans
was
l'exercice de ses
killed
fonctions vers 2
while
heures ce
on
matin.
duty around 2 o'clock this
Harvey a
morning.
été impliqué dans un
Harvey was
accident de la
involved
route
in a road
après
accident
auprès des membres pour les aider à
as he
résoudre
was
une plainte
dispatched
relative au bruit.
to a noise complaint.
Alors qu'il se rendait sur les lieux,
As he was getting
son
to the
véhicule a heurté un
area,
bloc de ciment.
his vehicle hit a
Malgré les
concrete
efforts des
abutment,
personnes présentes
and despite
sur
the
les
efforts
lieux,
of those on
Harvey
the
a succombé à ses
ground,
blessures.
Harvey
Il
succumbed to
comptait
his
3 ans de
injuries.
service,
He had 3
était
years
âgé
of
de
service.
32 ans
He was 32
et
years
avait
old.
été affecté au
He
détachement
had
municipal
been
de Strathcona à
assigned
sa
to the
sortie de la division
Strathcona
de dépôt.
division as he started from
Dès son
depot.
entrée en fonction à la division dépôt,
As he took on his
Harvey a été
duties,
reconnu
he was
comme quelqu'un
recognized
mature,
as someone who was
doté
mature
d'un grand sens de responsabilité.
with a great sense of
Il était
responsibility.
travailleur,
He was hardworking, reliable,
apprécié par
and
tous
appreciated by all
qui travaillaient avec lui
who worked with him,
et le membre du public aussi.
and members of the
Harvey était
public too.
très fier de porter
Harvey was
l'uniforme.
very proud to wear the
Il laisse
uniform,
de deuil sa femme Ravinder,
and
et
he
sa famille,
leaves
sa mère,
his wife, his
ses deux frères
family,
et sœurs.
his
Je
mother,
vais inviter
2 brothers and
Superintendent Dale
sisters.
Kendall à prendre la parole.
I will
Parler
now
du temps
turn it
passé par
over
Harvey
to
au sein du
my
détachement.
colleague to talk
Control
about Harvey's
Strathcona.
time in the Strathcona Detachment.
Afternoon, everyone. As the officer in charge of the Strathcona County RCMP detachment, I, along with the First Watch and our entire detachment, were fortunate to work with Harvey firsthand. Harvey was known for being a hardworking go-getter that could always be counted on. He also never shied away from taking calls and always wanted to learn on the job, no matter what the task or risk might be. He was one of the most professional people I have ever met. While he was composed, he had a great sense of humor and was always a team player, always. He would put everyone at ease and would always offer a helping hand to those around him. Harvey also had one of the most positive attitudes. No matter what was thrown his way, he was always ready to do his part. It is also so important to remember he wasn't just a police officer. He was a husband. He was a son. He was a brother. He was a friend. He was a colleague. And he was so much more. To those who knew him, please share your stories with one another and with everyone who wants to listen. I know this is a difficult time, but we are here to support one another and his loved ones. Funeral and procession details will be confirmed and shared with the community in the coming days. We appreciate your patience. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for your support. Thank you for joining us in mourning during this, the most difficult of times. Thank you.
Bonjour à tous. En tant qu'officier responsable du détachement,
As officer in charge of the Strathcona County Detachment, I had the chance to work with him,
les autres membres du détachement ici,
along with the other members of the detachment here.
lui était connu pour être un
He was
travailleur
known to be
acharné
a hard
sur
worker,
lequel nous pouvions toujours compter.
and we could always count on him.
Il ne rechignait jamais à prendre des appels.
He
Il
never
voulait toujours
avoided
apprendre
calls.
sur
He
le
always wanted to know
quelle
on
que
the
soit la
job,
tâche.
regardless of the task or the risk involved.
Il était l'une des personnes les plus professionnelles. que
He was
j'ai
one of the
rencontrées.
most professional people I've ever met.
Il était un grand sens de l'humour et avait toujours l'esprit d'équipe.
He had a good
Mettait
team
tout le monde à
spirit.
l'aise,
He made
tendait
everybody
toujours une
comfortable.
main secourable.
He was always ready with a ready hand to
Harvey
help
avait
those who
également
needed it.
l'une des attitudes les plus positives.
Harvey also had one of the most positive attitudes I'd ever worked with.
Peu importe ce qu'on lui demandait,
Regardless
il
of
était
what we
toujours prêt à
asked of
faire
him,
part.
he was always ready.
Très
to help.
important à constater.
What's so important to
Il n'était
know,
pas seulement un policier.
he
Il était
wasn't
un
just a policeman, he was a husband, a
un
son,
frère,
a
un
brother,
ami,
a
un
friend,
collègue,
a colleague,
bien plus encore.
and much more.
À ceux qui l'ont connu, je demande
For
de
those who
partager leurs
knew
histoires
him,
avec
I
les
ask you to
autres.
share the stories with
Je sais
others.
que c'est un moment difficile.
I know it's a difficult
mais nous
time,
sommes là pour nous soutenir
and
les
we
uns
are
les autres
here
et
to
soutenir ses
support
proches.
one another and
Les détails
his
des
loved
funérailles,
ones. The
des cortèges
details
seront
of the
informés et
funeral
communiqués à la communauté dans les
will
prochains
be
jours.
and procession will be communicated
Merci
to the
d'être
community
venu,
in the coming
de vous
days.
être
Thank you
joints
for
à nous dans
coming
cette période
and for
difficile.
joining us at this difficult time.